You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, GH fans. Belinda from Soap Dirt here, and I wonder if Cyrus Renault is going to make a scene at his great nephew's funeral. You know, Cyrus marched right over to his little sister Laura Spencer's penthouse to offer sympathy and scripture on the loss of her grandson, Spencer Cassadine, but all he ended up doing was enraging Laura, who screamed at him to leave. But I suspect Cyrus is not nearly done with things to say about this sad occasion. Okay, hey, please click subscribe if you haven't, and now let's dive right into this Cyrus thing. So we know Spencer Cassadine's memorial service is Wednesday, February 7th, and I'm sure there will be tears in the eyes of many people in Port Charles. I expect a very sad event. I'm not sure I'm going to need too many tissues because you and me, we all know Spencer is alive. In contrast, Bobby Spencer's funeral was quite the tearjerker. I went through a whole bunch of tissues because the character is never coming back. And Jacqueline Zeman died in real life several months before the ABC soap opera aired that memorial for her character. Spencer, though, he's another matter. We know Nicholas Chavez is off of the soap opera set temporarily while he films a Netflix series about the Menendez brothers. You remember the two young men, they shotgunned their parents, reloaded, shot them some more. It was a huge deal in the 90s. Nicholas Chavez is going to play older murder brother Lyle Menendez. So that's for season 2 of Monsters on Netflix. Season 1 was about Jeffrey Dahmer, and it was really, really creepy. Ryan Murphy always does good work. He's the showrunner of Monsters, and he's a powerhouse writer-director. He helmed American Horror Story, among many other projects that he's done before going down this true crime rabbit hole for Netflix. So while I do think there's going to be plenty of characters weeping on General Hospital on Wednesday, I'm going to save my tears because I know Spencer will be presumed dead for a couple of months and then he'll be back with a vengeance, I'm certain. The only tears really I have going on right now are from my allergies. The Claritin is not cutting it this week with the pollen. I will say though, if there's some really, sad emotional performances like from Genie Francis, like from some of these other people, I may end up crying. I'm not planning to cry, but I don't know where the day will take me. We'll see. There's another death, though, that just happened on the ABC soap opera, and of course, that's Esme Prince. And General Hospital did confirm Avery Pohl is done and gone from the Sudzer, but, with any good villain's death, I say never to them coming back, right? Of course, Nell Benson died a watery death, and we haven't seen her back. I'd like to. So if you're going to cry for anybody, maybe Esme Prince. She really needs tears because she's the only one of the two who has really gone on to meet her maker. Although I can't imagine any of the viewers or anybody in Port Charles is going to shed a tear, except maybe 2 people. One of them reportedly shows up at Spencer's funeral with some words of mourning and sadness about the dead young she-villain. Of course, we know Heather Weber will mourn the loss of her only daughter, but even if Heather breaks out of Pentonville to pursue justice for Esme, I cannot imagine she would have the chutzpah to show up at the church to say anything. She wouldn't want to be arrested and stuck right back behind bars if she has revenge plans in mind. So the official General Hospital spoiler for Wednesday, February 7th says, someone surprising shows up to mourn Esme Prince. Maybe it's her nanny, Maggie. That would be surprising, But I wonder maybe if it's Cyrus Renault who's speaking up about her for several reasons, 5 reasons, in fact. So the first one is that Cyrus couldn't help Esme when she came to him desperate about Ace. You could tell he really felt bad for her. He said he would reach out. He would try to use some of his contacts. Of course, then he called Laura and there was the whole Spencer thing and the confession thing and Dante showed up. But I do think Cyrus felt bad for her and wished that he could have done more. Cyrus, the second reason, Cyrus has a lot of sympathy for sinners because he is one and he knows he might not get a lot of mourners at his funeral either. In fact, I wonder if there is even a funeral for Esme, and maybe Cyrus somehow tries to turn this into a partial funeral for her just because he thinks it's the right thing to do to say goodbye. I don't know. The third reason, I don't think Cyrus condones Esme's son being ripped away from her the way he was. And, Nicholas did say that he felt like Spencer's death was his fault for taking Ace. And I think, although Laura disagreed, I don't disagree. I think to some extent that's true, because Esme might have just taken Ace and run away out of Port Charles instead of going after Nicholas to try and kidnap him to swap him for her son. All right, the fourth reason, I think Cyrus knows that showing up and speaking out on Esme's behalf would really irritate Sonny, and Cyrus loves to irritate Sonny, so that would be interesting. And the fifth and final reason I think Cyrus might be the one speaking up for Esme is, he thinks he's a good Christian, and as such, he believes in redemption and the afterlife and forgiveness, and maybe he thinks Esme is moved on someplace better. I don't know. I cannot imagine it'll go over very well if indeed Cyrus does show up to speak on Esme's behalf. I do know he's there, but I don't know if he's the one speaking on Esme's behalf. I cannot imagine that they have included Esme as part of Spencer's memorial. We're not going to have any side-by-side photos of the dead twosome. That would be absolutely insane, since she's the one clearly to blame for Spencer's death. I mean, I'm sure most of Port Charles would be happy to never hear the name Esme Prince again. I wonder if Nicholas is going to be out on bail in time for his son's funeral. It'd be nice, but in the promo, I didn't see him at the gravesite. I did see Cyrus there, along with Alexis, Sam, Trina, Jocelyn, Cameron, Elizabeth, and then a couple of people that I can't remember even knowing Spencer, Finn and Gregory. I don't know why they're there. I also spotted Laura, Kevin, Christina, Dante, Ava, and Sonny. So Cyrus is definitely at the graveside service, so I still wonder if it's him who speaks up for Esme Prince. It's kind of hard to imagine any of those people that I just named would speak up for her, Also of interest is that a shot of the graveside service shows freshly dug up ground. I did some quick research out of curiosity, and generally when there's no body recovered, they'll still do a headstone or a flat gravestone like they have for Spencer, but they don't dig up the ground because there's nothing to bury. So I don't know if GH did the dirt mound for visual effect, or if they're going to explain that they buried an empty coffin, which would be unusual, kind of like those chalk outlines you see on murder mysteries that they do around bodies. That is not a thing in real life that has ever been done by police, the coroner, anything. That's just something they made up for drama, for movies and TV. So we'll see if they explain the pile of dirt. But what do you guys think? Is it going to be Cyrus or someone else that speaks up on Esme's behalf at the memorial? Please click subscribe if you haven't. Definitely drop your comments on who you think it is, and come back soon, because we are here talking General Hospital 7 days a week. And as always, it's Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.